HIP96 is going live on Monday, January 8th, and is set to rework the tokenomics of the mobile sub-DAO. For the first time ever, there will be a burn mechanism for mobile tokens built into the onboarding fee structure of the mobile sub-DAO. The implementation of this HIP has had mixed reactions from people in the Helium community. Some are cheering for the improvement in tokenomics for the mobile token. Others foresee a slippery slope of decoupling of the network value from the underlying economic token HNT. The mobile token has increased in price more than 100x since the writing of this HIP, and many argue it is no longer needed to help get the mobile flywheel going. Let's take a look. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the Crypto Compound channel. Thank you all so much for being here. Hope you guys are having a great day. Please hit that like and subscribe on the way in. Today's video, we're talking about HIP96, which is going live on January 8th. And what it does is pretty significant here for the structure of the Helium network, the Helium sub-DAOs, the tokenomics. It impacts HNT tokenomics as well as mobile, and could set a pretty troubling precedent for future HIPs, which is why I think so many people are so heavily against it. And we'll get to my opinion on this as the video goes on. But guys, before we jump into the HIP, let's take a look at the market real quick for HNT. We are currently sitting at a inflection point here, previous resistance line that is now serving as support from way back in September and October of 2022. Buyers were unable to retake this level at this time, and we went very south throughout the bear market. But this is where we turned around, and the buyers were turned down twice. We are currently at this level, and buyers are now stepping in at this level. I think this is a very important moment here for HNT. As we can see, this is on the daily chart. This is really the first new discernible higher low on the chart after the bear market. This, if we hold this level, will serve as the second higher low here, the second higher discernible low in this now uptrend here for HNT. We have to remember that at this time, we were in a downtrend, then we chopped sideways, accumulation, and now we are currently, as from a technical perspective here on the charts, from a price action perspective, we are in an uptrend. So if we need to maintain this level, or at worst case scenario, we need to make a low that is higher than $4.28. A higher low than this is all we need. This one will do if we can hold. That's what we're looking at now for HNT. But as long as we hold this level and confirm this as a higher low, we are all good moving forward. If we look here, HNT number 72 on the CoinMarketCap chart, we lost a few positions since the last video, but this is all pretty normal price action considering what's going on with Bitcoin, Solana, and the broader markets. Now, if we take a look here at what's going on with HIP96, we can see here that Amir posted a few days ago saying this is a big deal as now mobile gets burned anytime new hotspots get added to the Helium network. Now, at first glance, that sounds great. Very good improvement for the mobile tokenomics. We are now burning mobile tokens when onboarding hotspots to the mobile sub-DAO. However, with further inspection and consideration, it, in fact, does seem like this might be a very, very slippery slope for the tokenomics of these networks. And it could, what people are scared of is that it could start cannibalizing the value of HNT as the underlying economic token for all of the networks. Now we are seeing a tokenomic incentive to actually burn mobile directly for the first time ever. This is the first time that this is happening ever. And we can see that Max here, who's one of the authors of the HIP, mentioned that this is coming up on January 8th, and he highlights the HIP here. Now, one thing I think is really interesting and sort of does tell that Max and the other authors know exactly what they're doing is that down here, we can see he says, if only we could burn mobile for data transfer, we'd have like a 50x in the price of mobile in a few months. And Amir down here says, think that would be a tough one for HNT holders to vote on though. So he is acknowledging that we are somewhat cannibalizing the HNT value by now burning mobile tokens for this onboarding fee by this comment. And that this really is what a lot of people are frustrated about. Rich Homie Kwan down here says this, outlines this pretty articulately in response to Amir's post. Now, I do want to preface this by saying I have a lot of respect for all the authors of the HIP, Max and Nick, and also a lot of respect for Rich Homie Khan. All of them are great contributors to the community. But I do, of course, there are times where people disagree. And at this point, I think I agree a lot more with Rich Homie Khan than with Max and Nick here, especially considering the age of this HIP at this point, which we'll touch on in a second. But we can see that Rich Homie Khan down here says, why should mobile get this value accrual and not HNT? Mobile market cap is way bigger than anyone would have thought, meaning mobile network deployment flywheel is taking the F off. People are earning $6 a day for a 5-month phone plan. Why do we need to juice mobile over HNT?
He has a point.
And he's 100% right. A lot of that has to do with the fact that when this HIP was written, it was way, way, way back around September 1st. The price of mobile was 0.0002 approximately. Currently, the price of mobile is more than 100x the level that it was at the writing of this HIP. So they obviously, I think they foresaw some, of course, price increase here, maybe not this much. So at this point, there is no more need for an increase in the flywheel, right? The price is already high enough where they're earning the entire value of the phone plan for the month in a matter of days. So I think this HIP was originally designed to try and incentivize people to join the network, to increase the tokenomics of mobile. However, it's not needed anymore because the flywheel worked to begin with the way it was, right? We can see that what they're trying to propose here is a $20 fee for indoor Wi-Fi hotspots and a $30 onboard fee for outdoor hotspots. This is paid $10 in both cases in burning HNT, and in the indoor case, $10 worth of mobile tokens is burned, and for outdoor hotspots, $20 worth of mobile tokens is burned. Now, this is exactly what people are frightened about, is the direct link now between onboarding and burning the actual sub-DAO network token as opposed to HNT. HNT has always been the underlying network asset, the underlying economic token for all sub-DAOs up until this point, or I guess up until when this goes live on Monday. There is now a burn mechanism for the mobile sub-DAO. And if we look back, guys, way back to HIP 51, when the Helium DAO was outlined, we can see one of the clarifications says, HNT remains the unit of buy and burn in order to maintain the HNT flywheel. Now, what is happening is there is a buy and burn mechanism for mobile. So it is sort of incentivizing only the mobile flywheel at this point. There is no benefit to HNT for this burning of mobile that they are proposing. Now, guys, in the grand scheme of things, zoomed out at the 10,000 feet level, I don't think that this burn of these tokens, of these mobile tokens for these onboarding fees, is going to play a significant role in either the tokenomics or the price of HNT or mobile. However, that's not really the argument here. The argument that I would make is that this is opening the doors. It's opening the floodgates for people to start building into HIPs burn mechanisms that only benefit a sub-DAO as opposed to HNT. I mark my words, there will be more proposals down the line, whether it's in mobile or Wi-Fi or IoT, where they're going to try to build in burn mechanisms directly for the sub-network token, similar to what Max is joking about here, where he says we should start burning mobile for data transfer. That, of course, would break the entire system that this DAO structure is built around, and that is the problem here with this HIP. Now, everything else about this HIP, the MSRP-based pricing, all of that, I totally agree with. I think that's a good idea. The problem that myself and a lot of people have a problem with is the burning of mobile token directly. And guys, if we see, this is a light reading article that highlights Helium Mobile passing the 30,000 customer mark. Obviously, Helium Mobile does not need an incentive now for people to continue to onboard, incentive tokenomics, all of these things. At this point, it is working. People are literally switching from Verizon and AT&T on a daily basis on Twitter. It's working. People are using it. So if it was assumed that there might be this need to incentivize people and to improve the tokenomics of mobile way back in September or August, that need is no longer there. So obviously this HIP has already passed and is going live. It is important though to highlight this, and we're going to keep very close eye on any new HIPs that are proposed where any sort of tokenomics impacting the mobile token directly is referenced. And guys, lastly, I do want to make this point here, which is the fact that these tokenomics are going to play the most significant role very early. And as time goes on, the actual mechanism of this burning is actually going to diminish. And the reason for that is because we can anticipate that the price of mobile and HNT is going to increase over time. So the $10 worth of HNT in mobile here is going to become a smaller and smaller amount that needs to be burned over the course of the next few months and years. So a smaller amount is going to continuously be burned as time goes on. And at a certain point, we are going to reach a point where the amount of onboarding of mobile hotspots starts to decrease. I don't know if that point will be in a few months or a few years, but there will be a point where the deployments start to become saturated and we will see a decrease in the acceleration level of the onboarding. So eventually, fewer hotspots will be onboarded and less mobile and HNT will have to be burned for each. So ultimately, as time goes on, this will become less and less significant. I just wanted to make that point because that is part of how this will end up working. So it's not like it's the end-all, be-all of the mobile or HNT networks. It's just the commingling of the burning that people are having a problem with right now. Now, guys, just for fun, I wanted to come back here and see what the actual price increase was almost exactly from September 1st to where we are today. And it is approximately 1,377% increase in price. So that gives you an idea of the mindset someone might have when they were writing this HIP versus the tokenomics and the reality of what we're looking at today when it is now being implemented. I mean, it really hadn't started moving up until like the beginning of December here. But mobile, I mean, of course, has been performing extraordinarily well. As we just saw, we have seen a decrease in price here over the previous few weeks. Just largely based on profit taking, of course, after price increases like that, as well as the broader crypto market. But I would expect a leg up here very shortly, especially when people start to hear now that mobile is being burned directly. That is just simple mechanics of this network now that is going to be implemented on Monday. But guys, let me know your thoughts on this. This is this is one of the more controversial HIPs we've seen in a really long time, and I'm going to expect that there will be more. We will do our best to cover them as they are being proposed and voted on in the future. But guys, let me know your comments below. Let me know what you think about this, if it's going to change your allocation between HNT or mobile at all. I'm curious to know. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I voluntarily got exposure to all three networks. My largest position, however, is HNT by a long shot. I certainly want some exposure to these other ones going into this bull market no matter what. But guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching until the end. Please leave any questions or comments down below. And please hit that like and subscribe if you have not already. But just like that, this video is over, and I will see you